いいかい、諸君。世の中には、人を見る目がない、騙された、裏切られたと、そう言って嘆き悲しむ者が後を絶たない。だがな、私に言わせれば、それは当たり前なんだ。なぜなら、ほとんどの人間が、見るべきところを、根本的に、決定的に、間違えとるからなんだよ。地位や財産、肩書きや学歴、そんなものは、人間の上っ面を飾るブリキの勲章に過ぎん。そんなもので人を判断するから、メッキが剥がれた時に、慌てふためくことになるんだ。本当に見るべきは、そんな表面の飾りじゃない。その人間の根っこだ。魂の、本当の姿なんだよ。さあ、よく聞きなさい。私が中村天風だ。これから、君たちの人生を根底から変える、極めて重要な話をしよう。これは、小手先のテクニックや、その場しのぎの処世術ではない。君たちが、これから出会うすべての人間の本質を、その魂の真の姿を、一瞬にして見抜くための、宇宙の法則そのものと言ってもいい。いいかい、諸君。今日、私が君たちに伝授するのは、その根っこを、魂の姿を、正確に見抜くための、たった一つの、しかし最も重要な原則だ。これを一度自分のものにしてしまえば、もう君たちは、人間関係で迷うことは金輪際なくなる。誰が本物で、誰が偽物か、誰が君の人生を豊かにし、誰が君の命を蝕むのか、それが、面白いように、手に取るようにわかるようになるんだ。これは、他人を裁くための道具じゃないぞ。自分の大切な人生という船を、荒波から守り、幸福という名の港へ、確実に入港させるための、羅針盤なんだ。どうだ、聞く準備はできたか。心の耳をかっぽじって、一言一句、魂に刻み込むんだぞ。さあ、始めるぞ。人を見るとき、まず何を見るべきか。それはな、その人間の口から、どんな言葉が吐き出されているかだ。これに尽きる。実に、これに尽きるんだ。言葉だ。言葉こそが、その人間の心を映し出す鏡であり、その人間の運命を作り出す、設計図そのものなんだよ。私が長年、ありとあらゆる人間を見てきた中で、これは絶対的な法則だと言い切れる。運が悪い、人生がうまくいかないと嘆いている人間に、一人として、美しい、力強い、積極的な言葉を使っている者はいなかった。逆もまたしんなりだ。いつも幸運に恵まれ、周りから慕われ、人生を謳歌している人間で、汚い、弱い、消極的な言葉を使っている者には、ただの一人も出会ったことがない。考えてもみたまえ。愚痴、不平、不満、泣き言、悪口、文句、こういう言葉を、朝から晩まで、まるで汚れた息を吐くように垂れ流している人間がいるだろう。ああ。あの人はついてない。こいつのせいで俺は不幸だ。どうせ何をやってもダメなんだ。と、こういう人間を、君は信用できるかね。こういう人間に、大事な仕事を任せられるかね。こういう人間と、生涯を共に歩みたいと思うかね。断じて思うまい。なぜなら、彼らが口にしている言葉そのものが、彼らの心の状態を、これ以上ないほど雄弁に物語っているからだ。彼らの心の中は、不平不満というゴミで溢れ返り、嫉妬と自己憐憫のヘドロが溜まっている。そんな心の持ち主が、どうして他人を幸福にできる？どうして自分自身の人生を切り開くことができる？できっこないんだよ。言葉というのはな、ただの音の集まりじゃないんだ。言葉は、霊であり、力なんだ。言霊というだろう。君が口にした言葉は、君の耳が聞き、そして、君の潜在意識という、巨大な大地に、種としてまかれるんだ。積極的で、肯定的で、感謝に満ちた言葉を口にすれば、君の潜在意識の大地には、幸福と健康と成功の種がまかれ、やがて豊かな実を結ぶ。しかし、消極的で、否定的で、不平不満の言葉ばかり口にしていれば、その大地には、 不幸と病気と失敗の独創の種がまかれ、君の人生を見渡す限りの荒れ地にしてしまうんだ。これは宇宙の絶対的な法則なんだよ。誰一人としてこの法則から逃れることはできない。だから人を見るときには、まずその人間が自分の人生という畑にどんな種の言葉をまいているかをよく観察するんだ。例えば同じ出来事に遭遇しても、人間によって言葉は全く違ってくる。急な雨が降ってきたとする。ある人間は言う。最悪だ。なんでこのタイミングで雨なんだよ。ずぶ濡れじゃないか。と。だが、別の人間は言う。おお。恵みの雨だ。これで大地が潤う。少し涼しくなってありがたいなと。仕事で大きな壁にぶつかったとする。ある人間は言う。もうダメだ。こんなの無理に決まってる。俺には才能がないんだと。だが、別の人間は言う。面白いじゃないか。これは自分が成長するための試練だな。よし、どうやって乗り越えてやろうか。と、どうだ。わかるかい。出来事は一つ。しかし、それをどういう言葉で受け止めるかで、その後の心の状態も、行動も、そして結果も、180度変わってしまうんだ。前者のような言葉を吐く人間は、自ら不幸の扉を開き、わざわざその中へ飛び込んでいく。そして、周りの人間のエネルギーまで根こそぎ奪っていく。こういう人間を、私は人生のエネルギー泥棒と呼んでいる。絶対に近づいてはならん。後者のような言葉を吐く人間は、どんな逆境の中にも希望の光を見つけ出し、それを自分の力に変えてしまう。そして、その力強い言葉は、周りの人間をも勇気づけ、共に困難を乗り越える力を与えてくれるんだ。こういう人間こそ、君が人生の伴侶として選ぶべき、本物の人間なんだよ。だから、よく観察するんだ。その人は、感謝の言葉を口にしているか、ありがとうという、この世で最も美しい言葉を、心から言えているか、それとも、当たり前だという顔をして、他人の親切を無下にしていないか。その人は、未来への希望を語っているか。きっと良くなる。必ずできると、自分と周りを鼓舞しているか。それとも、過去の失敗話や、未来への不安ばかりを、延々と語っていないか。その人は、自分自身のことを、どう語っているか。私には無限の力があると、自分の尊厳を認めているか。それとも、私なんてと、自分で自分を癒しめ、いじめていないか。言葉は、命なんだ。その人間がどんな言葉を使っているかを見れば、その人間の命が、今、輝いているのか、それとも、枯れかけているのかが、一目瞭然でわかる。だから、覚えておきなさい。人を見るとき、まず見るべきは、その人間の言葉だ。言葉こそが、その人間の魂の履歴書なんだよ。さて、次に、言葉と並んで、いや、それ以上にその人間の本質がむき出しになる瞬間がある。それは、いつだと思うかね。順風満帆な時じゃない。物事がすべてうまくいっている時、人間は誰だっていくらでも良い顔ができる。その人間の進化が、これでもかというほど明らかになるのはな、逆境の時だ。困難に直面した時、予期せぬトラブルに見舞われた時、人生の嵐に巻き込まれた時、まさにその時、その人間の本当の姿が、白日のもとにさらされるんだ。だから、人を見る時には、その人間が困難にどう立ち向かうかを見定めるんだ。世の中には似た種類の人間しかいない。人生という大海原を自らの意志で舵を取り、目的地へ向かう船長か、それともただ波に揺られ、風に流され、どこに着くかもわからずに不平不満ばかり言っている。ただの乗客か。逆境という嵐が来た時に、その違いははっきりと現れる。乗客根性の人間は、すぐに責任転嫁を始める。あの人のせいだ。会社のやり方が悪い。時代が悪い。運が悪かった。すべての原因を自分の外に求め、自分はただの被害者だと泣き叫ぶ。彼らは、自分の人生の舵を、 他人や環境に明け渡してしまっているんだ。だから嵐が来ればただおろおろと怯え、誰かが助けに来てくれるのを待つことしかできない。だがこういう人間は絶対に自分の力で嵐を乗り越えることはできない。なぜなら自分には力がないと心の底から信じ込んでいるからだ。彼らは人生の問題から逃げ続け、結局は運命の波に飲み込まれて海の藻くずと消えていく。君はそんな船に乗りたいかい？そんな船長に自分の命を預けたいかい？断じて違うはずだ。君が探すべきは本物の船長だ。人生の船長たる人間は嵐が来た時にこそその真価を発揮する。彼らは決して責任転嫁をしない。この嵐は私自身の問題だ。私の力で必ず乗り越えてみせると、すべての責任を潔く引き受ける。彼らは決して泣き言を言わない。面白いじゃないか、腕が鳴る。と、困難を挑戦と受け止め、その顔には不敵な笑みさえ浮かんでいる。彼らは知っているんだ。嵐は自分を滅ぼすために来たのではない。自分をさらに強く、さらに賢くするためにやってきた天からの贈り物だということ。失敗は終わりではない。成功へ至るための最も貴重な教訓だということ。だから彼らはどんな困難にぶつかっても決して諦めない。どうすればこの壁を乗り越えられるか。この経験から何を学ぶことができるか。常に前を向き、建設的な解決策を探し続ける。彼らの心は絶対積極という決して折れることのない鋼の柱で支えられているんだ。絶対積極とは何か。それは人生で起こるいかなる出来事もすべて自分にとってプラスになるありがたいことだと心の底から信じきることだ。病気になったらこれは体を休め生活を見直す良い機会だと感謝する。事業に失敗したらこれはやり方を変えろという天からの教えだと感謝する。人に裏切られたらこれぞ人の本性を見抜く良い勉強になったと感謝する。このようにすべての出来事を自分の成長の糧として積極的に受け入れていく心の姿勢。これこそが人生の船長たる人間の最大の特徴なんだ。だから君たちよく見るんだ。君の周りにいる人間が順調な時はニコニコしていても、いざ問題が起きた時にどんな顔つきになりどんな行動をとるかを、人の悪口を言って責任のなすりつけ合いを始めるか、それとも黙って立ち上がり解決のために先頭に立って行動するか、もうダメだとすぐにしろ旗を上げるか、それともまだ手はあるはずだと最後まで希望を捨てずに戦うか。逆境は人間を試す最高のリトマス試験紙なんだよ。その人間の勇気、誠実さ、責任感、そして生命力の強さ、そのすべてが困難という名の炎にあぶり出される。そしてな、これは他人を見る時だけの話じゃないぞ。君自身が今船長として生きているか、それともただの乗客に甘んじているか、それを自分自身に厳しく問いたださなければならんのだ。君は今自分の人生の舵をしっかりと握っているか。目の前の問題から逃げてはいないか。誰かのせい、何かのせいにして自分を正当化してはいないか。もし少しでも心に思い当たることがあるならば、今この瞬間から心を入れ替えるんだ。君は乗客じゃない。君自身のたった一度の尊い人生という名の船の唯一無二の船長なんだ。そのこと断じて忘れてはならん。最後に人を見る上でもう一つ極めて重要な急所を教えよう。それは言葉や逆境への態度よりもさらに日常的な、しかしだからこそ見過ごされがちで、その人間の本質が最も純粋な形で現れる部分だ。それは何か。その人間が日々の些細な出来事に対して感謝の心を持っているかどうかだ。感謝、このありふれた言葉の中にこそ 人間の器の大きさを測る究極の物差しが隠されているんだよ。私が言う感謝とは、何か特別なことをしてもらった時に、儀礼的にありがとうということじゃない。そんなものは、誰にだってできる。私が言う感謝とは、朝、目が覚めたこと、今日も、こうして息ができること、食事が美味しくいただけること、風呂をしのげる家があること、そういった、あまりにも当たり前すぎて、普段は気にも留めないような、一つ一つの事柄に対して、心の底から、じんわりと温かい、ありがたいという気持ちが湧き上がってくるか、どうか、ということなんだ。この感覚を持っている人間は、本物だ。なぜなら、彼らは、自分がこの大宇宙の中で、生かされているという、根源的な事実に気づいているからだ。自分の力だけで生きているのではない。目に見えない、偉大な何かの力によって、この命が支えられていることを、魂で理解しているんだ。だから、彼らの心はいつも穏やかで、満たされている。些細なことでイライラしたり、他人をそねんだり、不平不満を言ったりすることがない。だって、生きているだけで、丸儲けだということを知っているからだ。彼らは、人に対しても、物に対しても、自然に対しても、常に敬意と感謝の念を忘れない。レストランで食事をすれば、作ってくれた料理人だけでなく、食材を育ててくれた農家の人々、そして、食材そのものの命に対しても、いただきます。ごちそうさまと、心から手を合わせる。道端に咲く一輪の花を見れば、その美しさに感動し、そこに宇宙の神秘を感じる。こういう人間は、決して他人を見下したり、傲慢な態度をとったりしない。なぜなら、自分も他人も、すべてが、この偉大な生命のつながりの中で、生かされている。尊い存在だと分かっているからだ。逆に、感謝の心を持たない人間はどうだろうか。彼らは、すべてが当たり前だと思っている。自分が生きているのも、健康なのも、誰かが何かをしてくれるのも、すべて当然の権利だと勘違いしている。彼らの心は、常に足りない、もっとくれという、渇望の砂漠だ。だから、どれだけ与えられても、決して満たされることがない。彼らは、自分の思い通りにならないことがあると、すぐに不機嫌になり、周りに当たり散らす。自分より恵まれているように見える人間がいれば、嫉妬の炎に身を焦がす。彼らにとって、他人は、自分の欲望を満たすための道具か、自分の地位を脅かす敵でしかない。こういう人間を、私は心の乞食と呼んでいる。どれだけ物質的に豊かであっても、その心はいつも飢えと渇きに苦しんでいる。哀れなものだよ。君たち、いいかい。人を見るときには、その人間が、この感謝の心を持っているかどうかを、注意深く見極めるんだ。それは、大げさな言動に現れるとは限らない。むしろ、本当に些細な、日常の振る舞いにこそ、その人の本性はにじみ出る。店員さんに対する言葉遣いはどうか。タクシーの運転手さんに、降りるとき、一言ありがとうと言っているか。食事のとき、一粒のお米も、無駄にせず、きれいに食べているか。使った場所を、使う前よりも、少しだけきれいにして去るような心遣いがあるか。こういう、誰かが見ていなくても、当たり前のようにできるかどうか。そこに、その人の、感謝の心の深さが現れるんだ。感謝の心がある人間は、必ず、幸運を引き寄せる。なぜなら、ありがとうという言葉や思いは、宇宙の豊かさの周波数とぴったりと一致するからだ。感謝すればするほど、さらに感謝したくなるような出来事が、次から次へと、面白いように引き寄せられてくる。これは、もう、法則なんだよ。だから、付き合うべきは、感謝の心にあふれた人間だ。彼らと一緒にいるだけで、君の心も温かくなり、君自身の運気も自然と上がっていく。そして、最も大切なことは、君自身が誰よりも深い感謝の心を持つ人間になることだ。朝、目が覚めたら、まずありがたいと思うんだ。夜、 眠りにつく前に、今日一日、無事に過ごせたことを、心から感謝するんだ。蛇口をひねれば、きれいな水が出る。スイッチを押せば、明かりがつく。こんな奇跡のような毎日を、当たり前だと思うな。一つ一つの奇跡に、心を込めてありがとうと言ってみなさい。そうすれば、君の世界は、今日この瞬間から一変する。今まで見えていなかった無数の幸福と豊かさが君の周りに満ち溢れていることに気づくはずだ。どうだ、わかったかな。諸君、人を見るとき、まず見るべきは飾り立てられた経歴や財産ではない。その人間のありのままの心の使い方だ。その人間はどんな言葉を使い、自分の世界を想像しているか。その人間は逆境という試練にどんな姿勢で立ち向かっているか。その人間は当たり前の日常にどれだけ深い感謝の念を抱いているか。この3つを注意深く観察すれば、その人間の本質、器量、そして未来の姿までほぼ正確に見抜くことができる。言葉はその人間の思考の質を表す。逆境への態度はその人間の生命力の強さを表す。感謝の心はその人間の魂の成熟度を表す。これらすべてを兼ね備えた人間こそが君が真に信頼し尊敬し共に人生を歩むべき価値ある人物なんだ。だがな、諸君、この話はここで終わりじゃないんだ。むしろここからが一番大事なことなんだ。今日私が話したこの知恵は他人を値踏みし選別するための道具として使うだけではその価値は半分しかない。最も重要な使い道は何か。それは君たち自身を映し出す鏡として使うことだ。君は今どんな言葉を使っているかね。君は今目の前の困難から逃げずに立ち向かっているかね。君は今この瞬間に生かされていることに心から感謝できているかね。他人を観察するその鋭い目で自分自身の心を深く深く見つめ直すんだ。そしてもしそこに消極的な言葉や逃げ腰の姿勢や不平不満の心があるならば、今この瞬間をもって断固としてそれらを捨て去るんだ。君は自分の人生の創造主なんだよ。どんな言葉を選び、どんな態度をとり、どんな心で世界を見るか。その選択権はすべて君の手の中にある。幸運な人間、不幸な人間なんてものは最初から決まっているわけじゃない。日々の心の使い方の積み重ねがその人の人生を天国にも地獄にも変えるんだ。だから今日から、いや今この瞬間から実践するんだ。まず自分の言葉を変えろ。不平不満を感謝の言葉に、泣き言を希望の言葉に、悪口を称賛の言葉に意識して徹底的に自分の口から出る言葉を美しく力強いものに変えるんだ。次に自分の姿勢を正せ。問題が起きたら人のせいにするな。すべては自分を成長させるためのありがたい機会だと受け止めろ。逃げるな。困難のど真ん中に完全と飛び込んでいけ。君にはそれを乗り越える力が必ず備わっているんだ。そして感謝の心を呼び覚ませ。朝起きてから夜眠るまで一つでも多くのありがたいを見つけ出すんだ。当たり前だと思っていることこそ本当はとてつもない奇跡なんだと知れ。ありがとうを口癖にするんだ。心の中で何度でも何度でも唱えるんだ。これをただの一日一週間で終わらせるな。来る日も来る日も歯を磨くように顔を洗うように当たり前の習慣として徹底的に実践し続けるんだ。そうすれば何が起こるか。君の内側が変わる。君の心が変わる。そして君の心が変われば君の見る世界がまるで魔法のように変わり始めるんだ。 今まで君を悩ませていた人間は、自然と君の前から姿を消すだろう。そして、君のその積極的な心に引き寄せられて、素晴らしい仲間、素晴らしい機会が、次から次へと、君の人生に現れるようになる。君はもう、誰かに騙されたり、裏切られたりして、心を痛める必要はなくなる。なぜなら、君自身が、幸運と幸福を引き寄せる、強力な磁石そのものになるからだ。これが、宇宙の真理だ。これが、人生を思い通りに創造する、究極の奥義なんだよ。さあ、諸君、わかったら、ぐずぐずしているいとまはないぞ。今すぐ、立ち上がれ。そして、実践だ。君の人生は、君の心の使い方一つで、今日から、劇的に、好転する。そのことを、この私が、断固として、保証する。さあ、行け。君自身の、素晴らしい人生を、その手で、想像するんだ。今日の話が、君の魂に、少しでも響いたのなら、幸いだ。この知恵は、君だけのものにしてはならない。君が本当に大切に思うもの、愛するものにも、この光を届けてやってくれ。そして、我々の真理を探求する旅は、まだ始まったばかりだ。諸君の未来に、無限の栄光あれ。
We don't need to tell you about law of attraction. Law of attraction is like the law of gravity. You can't turn it off, and it is always responding to everything you've got going on vibrationally. It is responding to what you've got going on. It equals your point of attraction. In other words, law of attraction is responding to what you've got going on. So for a while, we've been explaining to you that as contrast causes you to know what you want more clearly, and always in the beginning of that knowing what you want, because the contrast has given birth to it, you're not vibrationally up to speed with it. There is this vibrational gap that's going on because law of attraction is now responding to your inner being who is in the vortex, who is lining up all of the cooperative components big time in order to assist you in the full manifestation and realization of everything that you want. And here you are, having whatever thoughts and beliefs and expectations that you had usually before you launched the desire. So there is this sort of duality going on where law of attraction is responding to both parts of you. The in the vortex part of you and the potentially not in the vortex part of you. So you've got this sort of split going on often that feels like frustration or overwhelmment that now it is your job to do something about. And that's why we talk to you all day, every day about the art of allowing, about assessing the vibrational difference between who you have actually become. Are you getting what we mean? Do you believe that when you launch a rocket that your inner being actually embraces it and becomes it? Do you know that when you're sick, vibrationally you're weller? That when you don't have enough of something, that vibrationally you have more of it, that when you're confused, vibrationally you're clearer. In other words, this is the way this dynamic universe and the evolution of all species occurs. So there is this vibrational part of you who is calling you home, calling you home, calling you home. And we want to say to you, you're going. The question is, are you going willingly? Because if you relax into it, if you just let go, if you just acknowledge you've done the work, the isness of the vibrational reality is in place. The cooperative components have already been assembled. They will show you amazing things. You will defy the logic of all kinds of people as this vortex does its work. The question is, where are you in vibrational relationship to it? So we've been talking about this for a while, and many of you have been hearing us for a while. Esther certainly has been hearing it for a long while. And she said to Jerry the other day, you know, it's interesting how in all of this that I've been hearing, I realize that I've still been counting on my action for far more than I meant to. Because in many cases, I don't really have to line up with my vortex because I've got people who can just bang it into place. I'll just call someone and say, this is out of whack. Can you take care of it? And they do. They're really good at wrestling things to the ground. But in the process of that, Esther realizes that She doesn't move her vibration. She just calls someone and they wrestle something else to the ground. And then she realizes that sometimes she can create more brush fires than she has brush fire putter-outers. And then a sort of clarity is beginning to occur to many of you. We've been talking about this vortex. You get it, don't you? Conceptually, it's an idea that you can wrap your thoughts around. And we've been letting you know that there is potentially a vibrational gap between who you really are, which is the done deal, the vibrational doneness, it's done, it's done, it's done, and what you have so far allowed to manifest because of what's going on vibrationally. And Esther said to Jerry the other day, you know, I realize that I've loved the idea of the vortex and I have wanted to be in it as much as I can. So I have been approaching my reality by trying to think the thoughts that make me align with my vortex. Makes sense. Look for things to appreciate. Look for things to bask about. If I find myself feeling negative about something, pivot from it. Say to myself, I know what I don't want. What is it that I do want? Which is a logical approach to lining up with your vortex. But Esther said, this last week or so, it has flipped for me because now I get it that if I let the vortex and what it means and how it feels be all that I'm thinking about, then in establishing my relationship with the vortex, and every day I'm in it, many times, if I milk my vortex when I'm in it, if I keep it going when I'm there, if I find myself on a happy thought and I rampage it longer, if I let my vortex be my undivided intention, if I let my vortex be what I'm reaching for, I now get it, she said, that my vortex affects my manifestation. It's a different way of approaching it. In other words, what we want you to gather as a result of the conversation that we're having here today, and as a result of what's going to go on in your lives in the next hours and days and weeks, as a result of what you pick up from this leading edge conversation, what you're going to come to know is that you have complete control over every manifestation that happens in your life if you approach it from inside the vortex. For example, so something happens. Maybe someone walks into your experience and they don't jive with you in the way you would like them to. They're annoying in some way, or they're unknowledgeable in some way, or they're belligerent in some way. They're abusing someone in some way. It doesn't matter. You witnessed it and you're having a knee-jerk response to it. And as you're having this negative emotion, the reason you're having the negative emotion is because you're responding to it in the way that you are. And if you feel negative emotion, it means that your inner being is responding to it in an entirely different way. In other words, what you're feeling isn't about what you've witnessed. It's about your relationship with the larger part of you who's having a different experience. Can you hear that? Because who you really are is loving this obnoxious person, even though you are not. And so the rift that you've got going on is the separation is too strong a word between who you really are and who you're being. So that's a manifestation that happened. This is the thing that we want you to realize. That person walked into your life and you experienced that manifestation. When we talk about manifestations, we know you think we're talking about cars and empires and legacies and books and relationships and all those pinnacle sort of things that you have been thinking of in terms of goals that you're reaching for. But we want you to understand that what manifestations are, what we really mean by manifestation is what's happening now. This is a manifestation. This room, these lights, these screens, this sound, this people, this global audience. This is a manifestation that's happening right here and now. Your relationship with your chair, your relationship with the people you're sitting next to. This is a manifestation. It's happening now. Manifestation. Everything that is happening around you is a manifestation that is evidence of one thing and one thing only: your relationship with your vortex. Your relationship with your vortex. So the fact that this annoying person is there or this belligerent person is there is your manifestation, which is simply reflecting back to you your relationship with your vortex. That's all. And that's what's so interesting. Esther nearly fell off the bed, and then the chair, and then the car, and then the bed, and then the chair, and then the car. As these processes have been going through her mind, the thought processes, as she realizes that everything that's happening is a reflection of only one thing, her relationship with the vortex. So, for example, Esther said to Jerry, if I were to do something for you kitchen-wise, in my beautiful new kitchen, what would you like it to be? And Jerry said, I would like oatmeal and raisin cookies. And Esther said, consider it done. So she went to the kitchen, snatched everything out of the cupboard, except baking soda, which was not there, because she has never baked in this kitchen before. And so she said to Jerry, I'm on the hunt for baking soda. And Jerry said, you know, I think I saw some in the refrigerator at the guest house because Sylvia has freshened everything, and I think it's in there, like a freshener thing. So Esther said, I'm on it. So she jumped in the car. Now, their garage is carpeted, which is a little tricky because on 3 occasions, Jerry has ended up at a restaurant with no shoes on. Because it just feels logical to get in the car from the car. So now Esther jumps in the car, goes through a gate or two, goes to the guest house, steps out into the gravel in her stocking feet, and says, right out loud, can someone please explain to me why I'm here in my stocking feet? And then she tiptoes down the pathway into the cottage and thinks to herself, surely there are a pair of shoes or carpet slippers in the closet. So she walks into the closet and finds herself in very wet carpet. She calls Fidel, and he tells her, as he examines it, that the air conditioner, no one's been in the cottage for a long time, the air conditioner has been running, it's plugged up, and it is draining into the closet. And Esther is saying, now no one needs to tell me why I'm here in my stocking feet. In other words, a manifestation, a path of least resistance. Jerry wants cookies. He wants the kind of cookies that don't have the baking soda. The baking soda isn't in the house, but the baking soda is at the cottage. Esther goes in her stocking feet. Now, you might say coincidence. You might say, oh, that's one way to twist a really stupid story into something meaningful. But what it is the path of least resistance manifestation, because things are always working out for you. You see, things are always working out for you. Esther could not get back over to the house to tell Jerry fast enough. She wasn't even upset that the house smelled funky or that the carpet was wet or that she didn't know what the problem was. She was exhilarated that the universe had delivered to her an answer to a problem she did not even know she had, because things are always working out for her. You get what we're talking about. Manifestations. So, if you are feeling worried about something, what you're going to receive back as feedback from specialists, from anybody that knows, is information that doesn't have anything to do with your reality, doesn't have anything to do with your expected manifestational reality, doesn't have anything to do with anything except it's feedback to how you're feeling. You say, oh, this test or this x-ray or this conversation or this whatever is coming to me is a statement of fact. And we say, we'll give you that, but it's a statement of only one fact. Your vibrational proximity to your vortex, period, end of story. So what we want you to begin to watch for, and it will be fun for you to watch, is that if you will hear us when we say that you have the ability to develop a personal and deliberate relationship with your vortex, with your inner being, with the larger part of you, with good feeling emotions. And if you will practice the vibration of it as often as you can and milk it when you find yourself there, so that you become so familiar with the feeling of who you really are, that you will see right before your eyes manifestations reflecting where you are. Personalities of people that you know will shift. Events that have been moving in one direction will shift. You have control. You are the creator of your own experience because you are the creator of your relationship with your vortex. And when you get that, people will say to you, what's going on with you? Why is it that you defy the odds and you defy the logic and you turn heads wherever you go and things always work out for you no matter what? And you say, or maybe you don't, because some of them are ready to hear it and some of them are not ready to hear it. I am the creator of the manifestation that comes to me, and I can control what happens to me in traffic. I can control where I am when the weather is doing whatever it's doing. I can control the relationship that I have with airline flights. I can control the relationship that I have with my physical apparatus. I can control my relationship with my children and with strangers and with family. Family! I can control my relationship with family because I don't have to control what they think or what they know or what they do. I have one very simple task. I know that who I really am exists as a loving, expansive, expanding, eternal being, and that part of me is the largest reality that exists. And I have access to the awareness of my relationship with that. And now I've got that down. Everything in my experience is not just working out for me eventually, it's working out for me now. Everything that happens, even when it happens in a way that you don't think you want, it is leading to something more. And there are two things that we want to say to you. Slow down in the action part. Just slow down in the action part. Let the impulse to act build until you can't not act. That's really what we're saying. Until wild horses cannot keep you from the clarity that you've come to. It feels like the whole point of the deliberate creation is to be able to jump into action as quickly as possible. And what we're wanting you to do is cool your jets just a little bit. And instead of being so eager to jump into action, enjoy the unfolding and the inspired action. And we know it's a fine line between jumping into action to make something happen and then being inspired to the action because the energy has already made it happen. In other words, you know that feeling of inspiration. Do you know that feeling? You know that feeling of an idea hatching and it being so big that it really feels exciting to you when it first comes. And then if you're normal, once that happens, once you hatch that, once you receive that, then you want to jump ahead and figure out how, where, when, who. And the most important thing is realizing that through the contrast is coming the clarity. And when the clarity is profound, then act. But don't act to accomplish the clarity. Clarity and then action. Alignment and then action. Next, we want to say to you that nothing has gone wrong and that it is a natural unfolding, and in every day of your life experience, this is the way it works. Contrast causes you to put stuff in the vortex, but you're not up to speed with that because it's a contrast that gave birth to it. So now you think about that and you come into alignment with that, and that feels more natural and more normal. And so now you're standing over here and you're in the receptive mode. And now because you're in the receptive mode, now the manifestation occurs because in your reception, you've turned those thoughts to things. Boom. So here you stand in this new manifestation with a whole new set of contrasting experiences, which cause you to give birth to another rocket of desire, which at first you're not up to speed with because you're over here knowing what you don't want, but you contemplate it and you look at it and you become a vibrational match to it. And now you're moving and moving and moving, and now you're inside that vortex. You're in the receiving mode. And because you're in the receiving mode, now it's unfolding. You're realizing it. Your thoughts are turning to things. Boom. Now you have another manifestation. And a whole new set of contrasting experiences which are causing you to put more, and on and on and on and on and on it goes. There's no wrongdoing. There's nothing that you're doing wrong. How do you know that you moved too fast until you've experienced yourself moving too fast? How do you know that you weren't in perfect alignment until it turns out not so good? How do you know? And have you lost anything? No. Have you gained something? Knowledge and understanding of how the universe works and how you work with it. The most important thing So think about being a wire walker, and you're going to walk on a wire at great height across something. And it's really all on you and your balance. There are no wires that are more special than others. Wire walker doesn't fall and then complain that the wire was twisted funny. Finding your balance is all that is required in that, finding your balance. And don't walk across high places until you know you've found your balance. But there's no high place that you walked across. There was no risk. There was no danger. In the beginning, you're walking across that wire and it's only a foot off the floor, and you're not very good at finding your balance, but you get better and better and better and better at finding your balance. And so what happens is sometimes deliberate creators like you want to raise the stakes higher and higher because you think it will make you focus better. It doesn't. You don't focus better at higher risk. So that's why we're saying, don't be so eager to jump into action. Let life help you find that clarity. And when you find that clarity, it's the clarity that you want, not the project. It's the clarity you want, not the agreements. It's the clarity you want. Because when you've got clarity, then you know what to do next and next and next and next and next and next. Is that helpful to you? The universe and your inner being, everyone's standing on our heads in order to help you find the clarity that is within you. If you could accept that you would be in tune if you weren't doing that thing that didn't let you be in tune, the next thing is care about how you feel and guide your thoughts to thoughts that feel better and better. Because your inner being is looking right at whatever you're looking at and feeling good. So you want to find a way to feel the way your inner being is feeling. So step one is you ask, you're doing it all day. Step two is source answers, and law of attraction gathers all of the cooperative components. And step three is you must find a way to be a vibrational match to what you're asking for, which means you must be optimistic. You must be anticipating good things. You must be ready to let good things in. You can't be down on yourself or down on someone else. You can't be mad at yourself or mad at someone else. You can't be noticing what isn't happening and allow something that you want to happen to happen. You've got to find a different way. Otherwise, if you're just focusing on what is in terms of what you have already allowed to manifest, that's really not even what is. That's old news. What is in the vortex, ready for you to allow for yourself and others to see. So we're always doing a sales job, wanting you, and it's not easy for you, we know. You physically focused, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching beings, to for a little while not being so absorbed in what you're seeing, but instead feeling a little bit. Let yourself feel anticipation of your desire. So then we go on to explain to you that the way these things, experiences, material objects, whatever it is that you're wanting to see and hear and smell and taste and touch, how do they become things? How does this vibration become a thought, become a thing? How does that happen? How are you turning thoughts to things? Well, you're doing it by holding a frequency that allows you to be in the receiving mode, that allows you to realize. That's the thing. So sometimes you say, well, I wish such and such would be revealed to me. And we say, it's being revealed constantly. The question is, are you on the wavelength where you can receive it? Are you the realizer of it? Or are you the denier of it because you can't see it? So we're asking you for a little while to be a little less seeing and a little less hearing, a little less observing, and a little more feeling, a little more reaching for the feeling. And you know, that part should not be difficult for you because there isn't anything that you want that is for any other reason than you believe you would feel better in the experiencing of it. So we know it's a terrible price to pay to get happy and expectant about things. And we also know, we know this for sure about you, that when you are observing unwanted, that it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, because law of attraction says that it must. whatever is active in your vibration, you get more and more and more and more and more and more and more of it. The good news is, in knowing what you don't want, you're launching rockets of desire about what you do want. And so it is all working out for you. We just think that it's time for you to understand it and check your attitude a little bit. Check your mood a little bit. Do something about it. If something is causing you to be unhappy, turn your attention away from it. Things are always working out for you, but your perception of them has to do with how much momentum you've got going toward your desire and how much momentum you've got going in opposition to your desire. So things have always been working out for you, but let's say that instead of you feeling more good than not good, that you had been feeling more not good. Let's say you hadn't gotten off on the right foot and you'd had some unpleasant things in your day-to-day now experience that had you pushing against things. And let's say that you were like most people, you're observing what's happening, and so it happens, you feel it, you flow it. Law of attraction and timing are the same words. Because law of attraction is always operating in the powerful now. Law of attraction isn't operating in your yesterday or in your tomorrow. Law of attraction is operating in your powerful now. So whatever you're feeling now explains why things unfold the way they do. And it really comes down to something very simple. You're either receptive to help or you're blocked off to help. We like this analogy. So life causes you to know that you do want something. And let's say that you actually are able to articulate, I want this. And you plunk an engine down going that way. So that engine is going that way and will continue to go that way and will gather momentum on its own because your inner being is tending it. Law of attraction is responding to that thought. So it is moving. Now, this is so important for you to hear this. And forgive the rudimentary analogy, but it will help you. As your engine is moving that way, and you are not moving, that engine moving will give you a little stress. Let's say your feet are nailed to the track, but the engine is pulling you that way. You will feel stress. Now, not as much stress as if you had an engine going that way, but not moving in the direction of your momentum does feel uncomfortable. Therefore, this is the most powerful and factual thing that we've ever said to anyone. The existence of your desire will automatically produce stress within you unless you let go and move with your desire. So the very existence of negative emotion means that you've got a desire. The very existence of negative emotion means your source, your inner being is calling you. In other words, the existence of negative emotion means that help is on the way. And so don't be angry at yourself about your anger. Say, oh, good, this is good news. This means I'm pulling against something. And what is it that I'm pulling against? My momentum, my success, my inner being and what my inner being knows. And then tack onto this knowledge a few personal experiences where you witness with your own eyes things working out for you. And then little by little, you become more of a cooperative component to your own allowance of things. And once you get rolling, once those things start stacking up, once this conversation leads to this conversation. Esther was playing with a friend a few weeks ago. They were working on a project together that was more about what he was doing than what she was doing, but she was helping him with this project, and they were high-fiving each other every 5 minutes because the thoughts that they were thinking and the fun that they were having just led to event after event after event after event that was just jaw-dropping. Nothing extraordinary in the sense that you couldn't understand how it happened. It was the consistent, constant sequence of it that left them breathless. And they said to one another many, many times, no one can ever explain that the universe isn't on our side and that things aren't working out for us. The evidence is too profound. Well, hearing it about someone else is well and good and maybe even humorous, but when it happens to you, it's meaningful. Finding a $9,000 diamond in the bushes, if it happens to somebody else, oh, it's a coincidence, or maybe she was doing something different than I'm doing, or maybe she's just lucky, and maybe Abraham's just making a big deal out of what luck really is. But when it happens to you, when you are privy to the desire that's within you and the conversations that are within you, when you witness the universal response to your vibration, and when you're consciously aware of the vibration that you're offering, then this all begins to make sense. If you're just stumbling into things and you're not able to acknowledge the correlation between what you were thinking and what you were feeling and the manifestations, then you don't have hands-on access to how it works. But when it's happening to you like that, oh, then you know. Negative emotion is a meaningful response to not being in sync with the thoughts of your inner being about things that really matter to you. By the time it reaches anger, this matters a lot, and you're pulling hard against something you want. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely.